We're with Prem here, who's the co-founder and principal coach at Care2Run. Thank you so much, Prem, for speaking to us on the LITE Breakfast.
Thank you, Bel and JD.
Now, Prem, can you tell us what Care2Run is all about?
Be happy to do that. So we are a non-profit social enterprise with a vision to transform the most forgotten, underserved youngsters through play-based games, sports, and one-on-one mentoring programs.
Okay.
Where we are based in an urban environment, we serve a diverse population of youngsters. Youngsters with autism, youngsters with Down syndrome, youngsters with rare diseases, youngsters from low socioeconomic background, and more. When others shy away, we embrace them, give them a fighting chance through play-based games in an inclusive environment.
Okay, so you're based in the urban area, meaning you're only based here in the Klang Valley, or all urban areas around Malaysia?
Great question. We're currently based in Klang Valley.
Only the Klang Valley. So at the moment, how many children do you cater for, Care2Run?
We've touched about 2,560 participants year to date. We've done about 16,680 hours of high impact coaching with the participants.
What's the age range?
And currently
of the
we're actively, yeah, sure, be happy. We take as young as 5 years old. Our oldest participant is 35 years old now.
Is that still considered youth, is it?
Youngsters, we call them. They're all young at heart.
Okay. So most of these children are children from financially challenged families. Some are needy, and some have in the autism spectrum and all that. So does it mean that most of your coaches will have to go through a special sort of training before you are able to train these children?
Yes, short answer. They will be given an orientation. We have we run a 3-day workshop in giving our volunteer coaches, an orientation in how Care2Run delivers the program, what is the program all about, and how do you really work with a person who's either mentally challenged or they learn differently. So we kind of have a in-house build module to support our coaches. Then we take them through some practical training, and then we put them through a long-term orientation program through the program as well before they graduate to become a Care2Run in-house facilitator. So it's a pretty long-term approach to just ensure that they have the interest, the passion to be able to support a differently able or someone who is more challenging with their attitude, so that they are ready to embrace the diversity in the population.
Okay, it's interesting that there's this statistic from the Department of Statistics here in Malaysia that says that there are 104,000 children in the country struggling with learning difficulties. What is available for these children with learning difficulties?
Great. Thanks, Bel. Malaysia is not that bad. And we have many early intervention programs. We have government schools with special needs integration programs. We have private centers which caters for specific different abilities, center for autism, a separate center for Down syndrome. We also have numerous NGOs who caters for adults. We also have after-school developmental programs. Care2Run collaborates with the national schools, local NGOs like NASOM, Persatuan Syndrome Down Malaysia, Kiwani's Down Syndrome Center Foundation, National Center, Women's Aid Organization, Childcare Center, Orchids, many other overseas NGOs as well. Now, in terms of your question, what's available for these children, in Malaysia, we are pretty blessed. We have quite a bit. What I feel as an active practitioner in the field who's been blessed with scholarship to travel and study best practices in Japan, US, Thailand, Singapore, and Australia, what we can do better is two things. We can improve the quality of delivery and the quality of acceptance. What I learned through my research with University of Tsukuba distinguished Associate Professor Sawai Sensei we could improve the quality of teachers and academicians if we give them enough field training hours. This is one way we could close the special needs teaching gap currently that we're experiencing. That seems to be the Care2Run differentiator as well. Another thing I want to highlight is our collaboration with the Healthcare Institute in the Netherlands. What they have shared with us is we can develop greater empathy if we are able to educate our secondary school children around learning challenges and how they can individually help the community at large. If these two, I can rest assured the quality of our kids will improve tremendously.
Now, Prem, tell us, what do the children from Care2Run, what do they learn in your program?
Great question there, Bel. Play-based games, sports, care are universal power adapters to learning. It's a language, it's a universal language that Care2Run uses to connect and draw a reluctant participant to the program. Okay. So essentially a kid in the program, if I could quote you some examples, will be able to learn how to be more open, active, friendly, and would also be able to have the role model effect, because the program is a one-on-one mentoring program. So we have what we like to call the role model effect. So they get to meet a buddy, they get to meet different people. They have, you know, for a young person who doesn't have aspiration, all of a sudden they have some sort of a goal in their life that they want to reach. And the goal is a lot more doable because their role model is cheering them on and encouraging them to do better and better and better. So they become a believer of possibilities. I think that's a very important differentiator in the program.
Okay, but can you give us an example of what kind of sports that you do with your children, or like what kind of games do you play with them?
Oh, I'd be happy to do that. Let me give you the first module in the program, in the foundation program. It's called social inclusion. How do we really curate the games around social inclusion? We have taken this idea from Japan. It's a marriage between dodgeball and frisbee. It's dodgebee. It's a very soft material. It's an easy toy to play with. It was invented for children with learning challenges because they are more reluctant to use balls that might hit on their face. They are less open, but this particular toy is very safe. So the first and foremost is safety. So when they hold this toy, we kind of pass it around like musical chair. We don't eliminate anybody. We include everybody and we get them to participate. We start with their name, we start with their interests, we look at similarities. And as they bound and bond with similarities, they get to connect with people who enjoy, let's say, nasi lemak together. People who enjoy traveling. So they get to see people alike, they see similarities, they like colors, you know, all this comes together. And that's what finding similarities and social inclusion is all about. The first module is about getting them to get to know each other and find similarities. Now I want to give you a second example. Imagine, as we're a sports organization, we have lots of running medals or awards, trophies, and so on and so forth. We bring all this tools or toys to play. What we do is each medal has a story. It has perseverance. It has tenacity. It has the distance. It has the discipline. So what we do with this is we take them through what we like to call modular-based approach. We break them down. So the first activity that we do with the medals is we get them to find identical medals. So it's an easy activity. So we hide all these medals under the sports cones that we have, colorful sports cones, and then the kids will wear one identical medal because we kind of pull medals from friends. We find medals alike, so they wear one and they find an identical medal amongst many. When they find one, they feel really good and they say, "I've found one." We encourage them to either help another person who's struggling to find theirs, or we encourage them to find another. Now, we take them through many variations of this game, and the last one we do storytelling. We tell them about a medal that they found, and we narrate the story. It could be a medal that was found in a medal they found. It was about a race in China, a race that a person spent maybe 50 kilometers, 18 hours in the jungle, and many grueling hours training for. So the kid learns storytelling, they get to imagine, and they have a dream of traveling to China one day.
So it's like an inspiring story after the game that can hopefully inspire the children to aspire to be something more than what they are now.
Well said, Bel. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, what if one of your child is not, athletically inclined? Can they still take part in these games? What if they're not? What if they can't run?
Absolutely. Great question. I have two answers to that. First is most participants are reluctant when they participate in the program because we serve the underserved community. As they step into the program, 90% of the kids are reluctant. They don't believe they would have a fighting chance. Now, we do have a group of students who really, are obese or are struggling to make that connection. So we cater to both. We actively conduct live coaching sessions. That simply means we have these telehealth practices. We get them on a program. We talk to them. We engage them. We also have digital storytelling courses for kids who enjoy photography, who are what we like to call, they like mobile phones. They can take some photos, but we kind of teach them how to take better photos. And then they sometimes join us for volunteer programs. They don't want to participate in the front line of the sports. They don't mind taking attendance. They don't mind helping out behind. They don't mind, refilling the water. So we get them hooked on some of the back-end activities. And then eventually we kind of try to have lots of fun. As they're having more fun, they kind of aspire to participate, and that's how we draw them into the program. More than often, we would have about a 98% success rate in drawing them into the program, and then they would be having even greater fun in the program.
Okay. So it's more of trying to get them interested in it by doing other stuff first.
Yes.
But is there other programs that are available? I remember you said something about photography. Like, is that part of Care2Run as well? Like a photography program? How about an art program?
The answer to your question is yes. We embed some of this program into the sports program as well. So we do have arts in our sports program. We do have storytelling in our sports program. So as part of the module, we have cooking in our sports program. Could you believe it? We have a sports and nutrition day where the kids become master chef. So we kind of include some of these activities through play-based. So we get them to look for vegetables as a treasure hunt. And then we challenge them to whip out a healthy meal. Most children nowadays don't enjoy eating vegetables or fruits. So we challenge them to have their first bite or their second bite. And then, they have to do that because they want to win. And they start enjoying their meal thereafter.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about some of the success stories that you've seen come out from your program. Tell us about the story of when this child first started this program and until where he or she is today.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share some success stories here. Let me take an example of this girl. She's about 28 years old when she participated in the program. Mm-hmm. The backstory of this young girl is she was diagnosed with cancer at a very young age. That disrupted her. At about 15, she didn't sit for the exams. She was in the hospital, and she was later diagnosed to be a slow learner. Her mom heard about the Care2Run program and signed her up. The mom is delighted that her daughter, who always was at home, has begun exercising, became more active, more sociable. She's a lot more confident now. Through Care2Run, this girl had completed a first 3-kilometer run. One milestone led to another. She's now a junior coach after she attended the junior coaching module with Care2Run. She volunteers with us. She mentors or co-mentors other kids now. She also secured employment after interning with Care2Run. I would love to share with you another example of a young boy. He's 17 when he joined us. He attended a private school. To help him progress, the mom explored various therapies, professional support, play-based sessions. As he progressed with Care2Run, he found joy in finally connecting with peers of his age group. He's also now a junior coach. He's interning with us to give back. He's recently helped us with poster designs, video editing, and he's actively mentoring other peers in the program.
He had a learning difficulty, was it, Prem? This 17-year-old?
Oh, yes. This young boy has mild autism currently. The answer to your question, yes. He does not only have mild autism, but he also has other challenges that affects mainly is his self-esteem. He was bullied, and he didn't stay too long in one particular school. He changed a lot of school, so that has affected his self-esteem tremendously.
So these are the older kids. I mean, like 17, 28. You mentioned that they start really young as well. Do you how have the younger ones who are still in school like assimilated, I suppose, back into the general population of other kids, because they're slow learners? How have they started to mix around better after the program?
Oh, great question, JD. So I'll give you two examples there. Two young boys. Okay, now context: 5 years old, autistic, ADHD is the diagnosis. Has challenging behaviors because they have fixation. When they joined the program, they demonstrated the fixation. They were more interested to be at the playground rather than play with us, because that gave them a calming effect. But through perseverance and multiple encouragement, the boys will participate in the program. They will have opportunities of joining back into the program. Through that, they get exposed to mixing with people, seeing other things, such as, to be very specific, they get to play with other kids. They might have certain violent behaviors like biting, like throwing tantrums, and so on and so forth. Those behaviors start to fade away because they get more exposure. And the success story for them is they get assimilated in a primary school. They get more accepted. Most of their bad behaviors has been faded off. They get to enjoy mixing with people, and they love to play now with others. So that helps with their socialization skills. But that's not only for the kids, yeah? I must tell you, greatest benefit is for the parents, because parents themselves learn how to accommodate the child's differences. They get to work and observe other parents and how they deal with their kids. They go through the orientation program with Care2Run as well. They are more accepting to their kids' differences, and they start to cheer and develop their kids more openly. I guess it's a two or triple pronged approach. All of us learn together as a whole.
Is this an after-school program, Care2Run?
Yes and no. Yes, we have a public program, and it runs as an after-school program. We do provide these programs within the school system as extra curriculum, or within the school hours as physical education classes as well. So it's based on the school's need if they want to embed that as a PE session. So we are in the school system. Certain school chooses us as their after school program, and we provide as after schools. Some schools say, okay, you're just going to be introducing Care2Run to our parent support group. You can take it forward from there. So it's very much related to their individual school's needs.
How does that work though with the school? So they just send a batch, or they send everyone in one class, or do you pick and choose?
Can I give you a real example?
Yeah.
so we worked with a particular national school in Kelana Jaya. It was one of our early school that we closely collaborated, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Kelana Jaya. Now, that school decided to run this as a physical exercise session during school hours. So what happened was we took over the physical exercise session from the PE teachers. As we did that, we had 20 volunteers from Monash University, Malaysia, and Care2Run volunteers together. We collaborated. We delivered a one-on-one sports coaching program during school hours. Every week we tell the school that we want to work with that particular kid, but it has never been a day that the school has sent us the same kid. Out of the 20 children, about 10 children would be switched, and we will always ask the school what happened. Can we continue to work with the same kid, because we want to measure and improve the same kid. It happens, there were many kids who wanted to participate in the program, but we just didn't have enough capacity to support. In other words, JD, what I'm just trying to tell you, in that instance, we had a capacity of working with only 20 children, but the school wanted us to work with about 40 children, yeah? So it was double the instance. So they rotate, we contain or sustain the same number of volunteers. And then we realized that we need to double up, if possible, to support the school system. So that particular program happened every Friday. We started the session at about 9 o'clock, and we kind of finished at about 10 o'clock in the school system.
Okay.
Is that
it's
ongoing
part of their
still?
PE? Yeah. Is this still?
Yeah.
Is this ongoing? Yes, but we kind of created young aspiring junior coaches in the program who have continued to deliver. We have also trained the teachers to be able to take this forward. So we started to work with other schools and other organizations. So the idea behind Care2Run is to empower and give the opportunity for the local communities to take it up, so that we can continue to scale and share the idea and approach to many other organizations out there.
Now, Prem, this is a very interesting concept, but I mean, tell us what actually inspired you to start this Care2Run. Was there a specific moment in your life, or something happened and you thought, okay, why not start this?
Oh, very interesting story there. Thank you for asking that beautiful question. In 2015, with a vision to give back and make a difference, a group of big-hearted recreational running friends from various professions explored, researched, and piloted an 8-week one-on-one sports mentoring program for youths from low socioeconomic households and welfare homes. It all happened around, we are a Tuesday running club, so we kind of run in Petaling Jaya, Gasing, and around there. And some of our friends brought their siblings, kids, and we kind of saw how much the kids enjoyed running with us. So that kind of inspired us. Why don't we do something for the community as well at large around PJ? So we did, and we wanted to do something more on a long term. We didn't want to just do one-off, what I like to call touch and go. We wanted to kind of really create that impact. We wanted to create that mentoring impact. If I can highlight to you, the spark came about when we spoke to one of the sports coaches, and we said, we shall not only focus on building athletes, why don't we also focus on the bigger picture of building greater individuals, personal development. And that was the key focus of the Care2Run program. Care2Run was not designed to create athletes, but it was merely designed to use sports as a tool to build individual self-esteem, confidence in being able to overcome life's adversities. In 2016, a lot of people saw this program kind of, constantly whispered in our ears to kind of invite us to work with their differently abled kids. So we accepted the invitation to roll out our signature one-on-one sports mentoring programs for the differently able. We worked with the autistic kids first, then eventually we matured to working with Down syndrome, dyslexia, ADHD, and now even more.
But why sports though, Prem?
It was the universal language, I guess. It was the kind of language that all of us were, that brought us all together. So we were a group of recreational weekend warriors or weekday warriors, you might call it. We kind of did this after work. All of us love to rush to come for our group running sessions. So that was the common denominator all of us had. There were lawyers, there were mechanics, there were engineers, there were doctors, there were tax consultants. So yeah, all of us, different professions, but we had one common interest: sports.
All right. Now, I understand that Care2Run actually serves the underserved communities and also underprivileged children as well. So I'm sure most of your programs, they run free of charge, right?
Great question. We provide full scholarship or subsidy for underprivileged candidates. We do charge a small fee. So backstory here, pre-2019, we never charged the fees to the community. So there was no, we didn't look at sustaining the program. We kind of, did how much we could. Late 2018, there were greater demand for the program. They wanted us to consider this more on a full-time basis of a larger community. So we took the plunge, but we had to sustain the program. So we started to charge a nominal fee. We do fundraise so that we'll be able to help provide sponsorships or subsidy for underprivileged kids.
Okay. Now, you're saying that some of your ex-students are now also your junior coaches. And you did mention also that most of your staff are just paid like a token fee, to work at the center. So how do you ensure that your center keeps running? I mean, I'm sure you have to pay the bills. Is it mainly through donation and fundraising?
Oh, great. Bel, despite our financial challenges, we could not sit back and do nothing for our community. So we constantly dig into our own savings. We have two co-founders who work full-time. They work very hard to support us financially. We raise money through grants, public donations, and program fees as well. And now we hope the listeners out there today who can help us fundraise could come forward to volunteer with us, as well as be a mentor, job coach, or a crew behind the scenes to make that lasting difference to build a better future together.
Okay, so how can our listeners help Care2Run?
Oh, well, they could help fundraise. Example, if they love sports, they could get their friends to pledge funds to support Care2Run, or they could donate their time to grow with us.
Also, you mean it's literally like a GoFundMe,
Volunteer,
crowdfund kind of thing. So they literally just give you cash and then you can have operating funds.
Yes, they could pledge funds through their sports activities, or they could also donate their time. Essentially, donating their time, it allows us to reduce our manpower strength, so we don't need to depend on our part-timers. So, I give you a specific example. We have quite a number of professionals who support us on a pro bono basis. That helps us get work done, yet keep our costs low, and continue to deliver the program professionally across to the community at large. So this is some of the ways that we could do this efficiently and effectively.
Okay. But how do you ensure, like, let's say, for example, someone wants to volunteer to be a coach for Care2Run. Do you have to vet them, or how do you ensure that you have the best people for your children at Care2Run?
Great question. Child safety is a very important factor in Care2Run.
Yeah.
Essentially, most of our participants and volunteers are somewhat referred. When we do have someone who comes, a stranger, a complete stranger that we have not, that we don't know, we kind of get them through an orientation program, and then we put them through as an understudy with another senior volunteer who shadows them and ascertains they meet some of those prerequisite criteria. They are calm, composed, they can deal with the challenges. We also have very stringent childcare safety policies to ensure someone doesn't take advantage of another person. Give you a specific example. When one of our kids go to a toilet, because it's a one-on-one mentoring, we ensure our childcare safety officer and the conduct is very much emphasized. There must be 2 people to 1 kid that goes to the restroom together. So every time a kid is always exposed to at least 2 persons, so that we know there's nothing that is done that is untoward towards the kid.
How long have you been doing this overall?
Since 2015. October.
And, like,
yes, now. Okay.
Because I work with a lot of NGOs and a lot of social enterprises as well, and raising funds gets tiring. It gets to your spirit sometimes, because funds are always on your mind. At any point, are you planning to make this, like, because social enterprise is different, you can make money and then you can work with other, like, get people to sponsor you in that way. At what point do you think, instead of digging into your co-founders' pockets all the time, are you ever going to consider doing this as something more corporate?
Oh, great question, JD. You've got great empathy. Yes, you're right. Fundraising is a full-time job. Everybody thinks it's easy, straightforward. Just ask people money. So we have considered many options. We are very aware of the challenges that comes with fundraising, and that's probably why we're digging into our pockets ourselves, because it's tough out there. Essentially, we continue to ask people. We have to charge a nominal fee to cover some of the out-of-pocket expenses that comes along in managing the program. I give you a specific example. We have a lot of gears for the program, and we need to have a storage facility to hold the gears. We have a big team, and we need a space to work together. We can't always be hanging out at a mama, because some mamas will close their power supply to us and play with internet connection and so on and so forth. So we've experienced all those bootstrapping challenges that comes along in making this program work. We have a very supportive ecosystem of former parents of our kids who constantly channel their access to us. So recently we fundraised for our Care2Run house. We did it's still ongoing, and within 3 days we were able to reach 30% of our fundraising target, only because our parents feel that we need that and they want to provide. Because they're a believer, they provide. So we constantly build on goodwill, affinity. We do our best, and we hope others will be able to help us with the rest.
Okay. How about Care2Run right now at this period of time during the MCO? Are you guys are you taking a break, or it's still ongoing but online?
I'll be happy to share what happens behind the scenes. For most parents, they felt they were taking a break. We have, we're going to be extremely challenged. Yes, like many other organizations out there, I guess we're a lot more connected with the corporate world. We really, we are professionals ourselves. We're very in touch with what's happening around. For us, essentially, we have considered adopting a digital pledge earlier. I come from an IT background, so I've had that inclination much earlier. However, to kind of transition to a digital background, especially working with children with learning challenges, be sensitive around what works and what does not. So we started a live Facebook exercise sessions. We do it on a private basis with our community only. We invite them, and for many parents, they don't believe this digital platform can really help their kids. but we ask them to take the leap of faith to try on us and try our own individual approach. I must tell you, it has been increasing 30%
Wow.
day by day. And mainly because we keep the session very small, manageable, and we keep it highly personalized. So the kid feels that they are being observed, they are coming to life in a TV. So they feel really honored to be part of that ecosystem. That's how we keep that small and personalized approach. We create affinity. So that's one. We also do life coaching. So we have a pool of youngsters who are worried, who are not able to open up with their family. We kind of get them on a conversation. So we have peer mentoring sessions. We have buddies who talk to them. We exchange ideas. We exchange approaches. It has really helped elevate some of the anxiety some of these young people are facing. The kind of anxiety they are facing is the uncertainty what's going to happen with them as they finish school, because job market is getting tougher for them. They are not able to have their routine of going to the gym, kids gym. They're not getting that social outings with their parents, so they're a bit worried. So we kind of elevate some of that by giving them alternatives, what they can do at home.
Nice. Now, lastly, Prem, what is your advice to parents who, might have discovered that their children have learning difficulties or are in the autism spectrum? Like, what is your advice to them about whether or not they should sign their children up for Care2Run?
Well, thank you very much for sharing and asking that question. Well, Care2Run might not be the only program out there. There are many other options as well. I think most importantly, parents must be open to learn themselves. They must be open to learn that kids with learning challenges are a blessing in disguise. They just learn differently. They learn with different pace. They need different methods. They probably need a different classroom style. So parents need to be open to adapt. There are different ways to assess their abilities. A traditional school system might not be able to assess their intellectual capacity. There are different ways of assessing their gift. So each of these young person that we worked with before and are currently working actively with our teachers. And I constantly learn from them. So I believe that the opportunities lies within each parent's support system. The parents can provide that support system. Care2Run is one that could also help them discover their true potential, the parents' true parenting potential, and through that we hope to bring out the potential of their kid. Yeah, so that's one way that we feel we could raise awareness that the parents could naturally adapt and grow with Care2Run.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Prem.